When Yanti talks, we all need to listen. Tia Kemp versus Chrisean. Let's talk about it. They 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 talk about it. Welcome back to She Could Talk the Podcast. I'm your host, Gangalee. Hey, and that's Gangalee on all streaming platforms. If you want to check out my music, just look for the glasses, look for the locks. You could tell me if I could rap, okay? Or not. But up here on YouTube, on She Could Talk the Podcast, this is where I react to everything. I react to news, sports, crime, musicians, politicians, YouTubers, TikTokers. If they're talking about it, we're talking about it. Okay? Okay. So speaking of which, this recent beef that's been internet beef that's been brewing online. I've been seeing it on Instagram. I've been seeing it on TikTok. I've seen it on YouTube. I see it on Facebook. I can't get away from it. So I said, as much as I see about Chrisean Rock, I try to stay clear of that lane of algorithms, and I try not to, react or give my opinion on it. But I had to. I had to this time around. All right. So for some people, because I know I have a mixed bag over here, She Could Talk the Podcast. Shout out to you all subs, all my subscribers. Shout out to you all. We're growing daily. I know I have a mixed bag, so I'll give a little background. Tia Kemp, the woman on my screen right here, is Rick Ross's the mother of one of Rick Ross's sons. I think it's like his oldest son. The son that if I'm not mistaken, looks just like him. That's her son. And other than being like the mother of Rick Ross's child or son, because he's a grown man at this point, she is a media personality, internet personality. She had a show, I don't know if it was like a podcast type of show with Carlissa, which is Blueface's mother, herself, and someone else uh, China, Black China's mom. Tokyo Tony. So it's Tokyo Tony, Tia Kemp, and Carlissa, and they did a show together for a minute. I don't know if it was called the Aunties or something. I don't remember, but I only caught highlights. I'm not even gonna lie. I never seen the full episode. I always caught highlights on different platforms, right? So apparently, with her being on the show with Carlissa, Carlissa is Blueface's the mother of Blueface. Blueface is a rapper from California. You know him. I don't think Blueface is an ugly guy, but I think that he has, a lot of ugliness around him. He had that, reality show where all the girls was fighting over him. He has a baby mother named Jaden or Jayla. Jaden, I think it is. He has two daughters or two children, I should say, a son and a daughter with her. And then he has Chrisean Rock, right? And then here comes Chrisean Rock. Chrisean Rock was one of the girls on the show, on his reality show, for everything. She literally lost her tooth on that show. So when you see her walking around toothless, it's because she was fighting girls on the show and lost her tooth. So then comes back around, she falls in love with Blueface, First out, when I first saw them get together, I was like, oh, he's trying to avoid liability because that girl lost her tooth and etc. Right? That was my first thought. But apparently they loved each other, allegedly. And they had a very tumultuous, volatile, toxic relationship that played out in social media for about 2 years, right? Very, very horrible. Then she gets pregnant. When she gets pregnant now, I guess she calls herself separated from Blueface, and she was getting like a lot of support from social media, like, yeah, you do it, you're beautiful, you don't need him, like, do your thing, raise your kid on your own, etc. Right? They were supporting her, partying, do your thing, live your life, right? And then you started seeing certain nuances, drinking while pregnant, using drugs while pregnant, just a slew of things that just does not go with pregnancy, right? Just to me, even being in a club on a stage, or it was one thing where they was like standing on top of a bus or a van or something, like shooting a video, and just around a lot of like incidents like you could have fell, right? Like the club, like other people are smoking stuff, the secondhand smoke. You know, a lot of people don't think that secondhand smoke is dangerous, but it can be, you know, touch unborn child, etc. So all those things kind of made me look and have my spidey senses tingling, right? So now we're going to bring it present date to 2 years later, after all of her latest or previous antics of throughout the pregnancy. She had the baby, even her birth, even the delivery of this baby was online. Like we all were in the delivery room. Any of y'all familiar with that? Do y'all remember that? She live streamed the birth, right? So if in the grand scheme of like the world we're living in now, content creation, she was giving a lot of content. Chrisean Rock gives a lot of content, or gave a lot of content during these times. And then she gave birth to her son. Blueface stepped in and said the son needed medical assistance. She wasn't giving it to him, blah, blah, blah. He even went as far as saying, that's not my kid. I don't know whose kid that is, blah, blah, blah. Then, you know, you started seeing less of the kid, right? And everyone's like, oh no, when she showed him on the live, when she went live, you heard him squeal in the background. If you look at his development, he's deformed, he's this, he's that. So many different things they say about this kid and like being disabled, etc. Due to the stuff she's done during the pregnancy. I don't like to go there because it's such a sensitive topic to me as far as like children, disabilities, etc. So here enters the chat Tia Kemp. Tia was on the show with this young girl, Chrisean Rock's boyfriend's mother, Carlissa. Right. So I guess they have a little friendship or relationship, working relationship, and people were asking Tia, how does she feel about Chrisean Rock and the development or lack of development on her son? So we're going to get into some choice words. And before I get into it, because I'm reacting to it, I want to say, YouTube, I love you. These are not my words. Okay. These are not my opinions. I'm just reacting to Tia Kemp, aka Yanti, because Yanti be she lets off the clips. Okay. So excuse the profanity, guys. Excuse the profanity. Once again, I love y'all all. But it's just the context of what she's saying is what we want to react to. So if we can kind of like ignore the profanity and focus on the emotion, but also focus on what she's saying to Chrisean to go a little bit further. Someone asked her on her live, on Tia's live, what she thinks about the Chrisean and her baby. And she says something to the effect like she needs to get off the internet and just focus on getting the child the care he needs. And it kind of like, Chrisean got upset about that and said, she wants to go ahead and, respond. So let's get into their back and forth that happened this week.
I was not unstable in my 20s. I ain't pay no bills. Ain't pimp me out. Like y'all getting pimped out here. It's pimping. I want to tell you that, but I don't want to hurt your soul. Been pimping you out since you was pretty. You ain't pretty no more. You're pathetic. You're trying to be a pity party. And that's what I don't like. Stop being fake. All right? You're fake. You portray all this holy saint God stuff, godly stuff, and you turn around, you want to bop everybody that give you some construction.
Oh, yes. And that was another thing. How can I forget that? So Chrisean is known for violence, right? She's beat up Carlissa, which is her boyfriend's mom, his sister, beat up members of the baddies. I told you she lost a tooth fighting on the show. She tried to fight his other, kid's mom, Jaden. She fights anyone. She for her sister. She fights anyone, right? And so she was basically saying like, you out here trying to fight everyone. Let me go back to it real quick.
Some construction, voice their opinion. Stuff you turn around, you want to bop everybody.
Yeah, so that's why I kind of lost my train of thought there. When she feels like the audience or her audience is like not supporting her antics, or if she feels like she's not making any moves, she turns to God. That's what happened when she got pregnant. She was drinking, doing drugs, doing all this stuff. Then, she decided she wanted to keep the baby. Excuse me. She decided she wanted to keep the baby, not abort it, and go to church. So she went to church. She did gospel music. She, showing her in church and the pastor. She's on stage giving her testimony and everything. Then next couple of months, she's back, in them streets. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Chrisean's interesting.
That give you some construction, voice their opinion. Now you're on here talking about you want to beat up DDG's sister and her boyfriend. Girl, you can't fight everybody. You gonna run up on the right one and they gonna gas it on you. Trust. Girl, you better go sit your down somewhere. I told you can't fight the world. Keep your baby off the internet and you won't get none of this. That's all. Because if it was me, my child would have never been on no internet with them conditions. Instead of running around with this baby in a stroller for the past 2 years, while you run around with these ugly hoodies on and Air Force Ones looking like a... Get out of here, girl. Every time I look at you, don't you ever come to me. If I see this motor...
So they call her Yanti, Tia Kemp. You know how they have the YNs? She's a Yanti, okay? And I can relate, because sometimes I be feeling like I'm a Yanti too. I could definitely relate. But listen to what she's saying to her. She's not really like... Now, of course, she's very colorful with her words, and she gets more colorful after Chrisean tries to disrespect her for saying this, or saying a few more things, like, stay off the internet. Basically, I say that about a few people, you know what I'm saying? I remember when I did my reaction to Cooking with Kaya crying on live. I said, listen, it's okay to cry, but just do it off the live, right? This generation, this younger generation, tends to do everything on live. The couple that I reacted to that, on a live themselves, right? Because they're arguing on live. It's a very deadly place to do it. Trust me. Excuse me. So to me, I feel like she was just telling her something that I tell them. So I said I'm the internet auntie too. Like, everything don't need to be on here. So, but let's let young Tia continue.
Mouth talking one more time with that missing tooth. And she had nerve to pull it out when she was doing it. Like somebody. Okay, we laugh. She just took her tooth out. You crack baby. Everything, managing properties, something you can't do. See, she gonna make me hurt her.
So right here, she's reacting to, I guess, like an interview that Chrisean did in the pool, which was weird. I thought that was weird, but she was in the pool and she was like, what was she doing when she was my age? Nothing. She's old and she's trying to like get her clout off of me, talking about Tia for saying, talking about her kids. Like, you just want to talk about my kid to get clout off of me. So she's basically filming herself and she was like, responding like what she did when she was my age. She was like, everything. I was managing properties. I was a real estate agent, a licensed real estate agent. So when I was your age, I wasn't getting PIMP'd by dudes, and I don't think she's really getting PIMP'd. I think it's more so like, getting played, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got your tooth knocked out on the dude's show. So I feel like he kept you around just for liability purposes to prevent any type of lawsuit or prevent any type of, legal actions from you because you were technically hurt by losing your tooth on the set of that show, and you could have got, that was legal grounds for something. But, feed you a little romance, love bomb you here and there, gaslight you, I love you. That'll distract you enough from a lawsuit. That's what I thought in the beginning.
So, if she keep running her... I'm trying to be compassionate. I'm trying to show some compassion. My children was with me. They were in daycares while I worked jobs.
Okay.
Careers. Okay. I have a real estate license, baby. Yes. Yeah. And I'm a licensed esthetician. I worked real jobs. Real ones. Stop that, baby. Okay? But she keep running this fat burrito face. I ain't her mother-in-law. I hurt your soul. I bring it down to the bottom of your belly. You don't get them dirt bags from around you.
And you know, like Rick Ross, this is Rick Ross's baby mother, and Rick Ross stay clear of her. He'd be like, "Where Tia at? If Tia's off to the left, he going right." Okay, he'd be like, he hate to see her coming, and she don't care. She unload the clip on Rick Ross anytime she feel. She would be like the verbal clip, not ammunition, but she will unload that verbal clip on him like, okay. And anyone who rubs her wrong or got her spidey senses tingling, she doesn't hold back. She does not hold back. So this was an interesting entanglement of two opposite worlds this week.
You're gonna lose custody of your baby. You're gonna be back in jail. And that lady gonna have your child who you hate.
Okay.
All right. Your body is hindrance after one baby to be in your 20s. So don't ever rap about me and body shame and talk about looks and likes and all that stuff. I just kept it real with you. You want pity. That's what you want. People tired of that. People done prayed for you and all. That's it. Nobody cares no more. I hear one more thing.
And you're seeing a lot of that. I'm seeing a lot of that. Where a lot of people that use the guise of God, like they do a whole bunch of craziness, a whole bunch of, like this girl that she's talking about, which I'm going to get to a clip of her soon in my reactions here. But Chrisean, I've seen this girl do some crazy things on the internet where I'm like, wow, how has no one stepped in and did an intervention? That's what I said. Then when she got pregnant, it seemed like it just got turned up even more. The antics, the exposure, like her being everywhere, partying, it was crazy. It was crazy to me. And then when people started to be like, yo, you wildin', you doing too much, or that baby looks like it needs a little bit of help, then she ran back to church and, oh, the Lord, and she did a gospel song, the Lord is going to deliver me. And then people are like, oh, we're praying for you because, people are rooting for her. We root for each other. We pray. And then she's like, okay, I got my prayers up. I'm good. And then she go right back out there doing craziness. So Tia's calling it right.
And come out your mouth talking about me and I'm too old for something. Your mama too old to be on drugs. Now I'm hearing it right there.
So now this is Chrisean. So basically, it was a series of things that happened, right? Tia Kemp was sleeping 1 a.m. in the morning, and someone sounded just like Chrisean, using the same verbiage she uses and everything, same vocal tones and everything, called her phone and was like, keep my name out your mouth and keep my kid name out your mouth, and I'm going to come to Miami because Yunty's in Florida. Okay, so she was like, I'm gonna come down to Miami, blah blah blah, all this other stuff to Tia Kemp, and Tia was like, nah. So it's about to get crazy. The roller coaster ride is we're chugging up that roller coaster to the top, and then we're about to go down. It's about to get crazy. So once again, YouTube, I love you. Disclaimer here: these are not my words. Okay, so please excuse the profanity.
I would be live if I wasn't on the phone with her. I think she fake had somebody act like me for her content, That's that weird, like...
Exactly what the person was saying on the phone.
Which I got time for nowadays. To be real or weird. To be real weird, that's what it is.
Doesn't she sound like, at first, I used to think that she was like emotional. Like something was, emotional with her and the whole Blueface thing. That's what caused her to be sounding like this when she talks. But then Blueface has been in jail for a minute now, right? So the stuff that we're seeing, we cannot blame him. As much as she would like to blame her life choices and the state that she's in and the kids, she'd like to blame it on everyone else. She can't. So that part I noticed. Then it seems like look at her eyes right here. Like, is it drugs? Is it drugs, guys? Is it drugs? That's what I'm asking. I don't know, because it seems like her lucidity or her coherentness is getting worse, right? I just seen an interview of her not that long ago where the guy treated her with kid gloves. You know, if I was doing an interview, I'd be like, all right, I'm done. Come back when you ready to talk. Instead of wasting my time. She wasted dude's time. Crying, emotional roller coaster. He was like, how's the kid? She crying. And he goes, how's Blueface? She perks right up. Oh, Blue, Blue and Blue, we love Blue. Like, it's just all about Blue. And it's like, people peep that. But we all saw that interview, and I was like, I ran to the comments, like, what are they saying? And they was like, she couldn't tell you how her kid was doing. She couldn't tell you what developmental milestones he had. She couldn't tell you any of that stuff. But as soon as he asked about Blue, she could her light switch went on, and she could talk coherently, clearly, and articulate all her feelings and emotions about Blue. It was crazy. But then you see her like this, and she just seems like it's, I don't know, abuse of some substance.
I got time for it to be real weird because I ain't never caught it before. And whoever is trying to be me on the phone, good job. It's not me.
Her voice is very distinctive.
Because I must have struck a nerve when we first was going back and forth, because to fake a phone call and put it on live like that, like we really on the phone. The caption says,
You know me, you got my...
So this is the call. And I got just bits and pieces of it because Tia goes off. First of all, Tia is from Florida. That young T went like this. Okay? Tia let the clips off. But I don't think that she was expecting that. I didn't think that she thought, because Tia was older and she beat up Carlissa. She beat up Blueface mom. So this is her reacting or responding to Chrisean on the phone. And tell me if this doesn't sound like Chrisean.
Number hoe, but we gonna talk about Ronnie, your real baby daddy. Did you have him off? It was a threat. I ain't Calissa. I flatline your... I got sure your mother. You ever in life think you could raise your hand up at me? I'ma lay your ass out. Your mama and you better have some insurance on you, because I got insurance older than you.
She said, I got insurance older than you.
You gonna respect me. I ain't Calissa.
Excuse the language. But this is Tia, and that's Chrisean. Chrisean called Tia in the middle of the night, talking, threatening her basically, more or less, because Tia said, baby, take yourself off live and take your kid off live and just go ahead and take care of your kid. He clearly has special needs of some kind, and you're not helping him by neglecting them. So it clearly struck a nerve to the point that she got her number some kind of way and called her 1 a.m. and threatened her. But what she did expect was that Tia would call back.
Sweaty looking. I'm so sick of that ignorant little I am. And when I find out who gave her my number, Zeus, I'm gonna add all y'all out. On God, dang, to be mother played with, because I'm about my business. I don't play that little girl. I did my job. I've raised my kids. So my opinion was my opinion, just like the public has an opinion. Keep your baby off the internet if you don't want nobody to be opinionated, you young girl. Stop exploiting that baby. Silly.
Once again, the language is not mine. But I understand, Tia. I understand.
Texting my phone, talking about she a millionaire. You ain't a millionaire. You ain't rich in spirit. You gon' if you don't go take them soda can sounding chains off your mother.
Tia said, so Chrisean said, I'm a millionaire, trying to shine on Tia. Tia said, you ain't rich. You not even rich in spirit. Don't play. Young T said, you not even rich in spirit. Boom.
Yeah, I won't care how much those cost. You unclassy. Go sit your non-classy down. I got that name saved on the slow. I just told her to go read some books, y'all.
Now, some people would be like, because Tia is, we're in the same age group. So she's in her 40s, right? And they're saying, like, you over here arguing with Chrisean, who's 20 years old, but that's not it. She did not insult her. She basically said something that any auntie would say, hey, baby, you might be doing a little too much. Step back a bit and take care of that child, because he definitely has some need some attention, you know? And then once everything gets better and you're in a better way, then you can come back and get back on your social media stuff. She ain't like that. She got her number. Chrisean got Tia's number and called her 1 a.m. Anything after that was fair game. You know what I'm saying? So Tia went off. Let me see if there's any more that we can listen to
Look,
without the profanity.
let me show you what I'm for this. Look, I just told her go read some books. You the keep my name and my kid out your mouth. Don't come to L.A. I say I go where the I want to. You a gangster? Oh, tell me now what you gonna do, ho? Come on that. Yeah, I didn't like you when I see you. I'ma beat you. Oh, I need it.
Yeah. When she put the threat up there, she was like, that's all I needed. And, she went off. But to go back a little deeper, there was a guy that went to high school with Chrisean named Ronnie. Ronnie was her high school sweetheart. When she went to audition for the reality show for Blueface, allegedly that was her boyfriend. He supported her on her career for stardom. He supported her. They were both doing stuff together, content, etc., right? So he says, depending on what interview it is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but he says he even moved with her initially, to help her get her career started and support her. He said when she got her tooth knocked out, he was upset about that. But she begged him not to do nothing because he wanted to do something to correct the problem. She begged him not to do it. Then the baby was born. Ronnie said he took one look at that baby and he knew it was his. Allegedly. Allegedly. So she was out filming with Blueface, etc., in the malls, whatever. Ronnie ran up on her in the mall. I want a DNA test. I want a DNA test. And she's like, why are you being weird? That's her word. Weird. Why are you being weird? This is Blue's baby. Ronnie was like, if you won't give it to me willingly, I will go to the courts. That's my baby. He did interviews. It's a very, very, heart-wrenching interview that he did right before his demise. Because someone unalived Ronnie. So when you hear Tia saying, did you get Ronnie murdered? Or did you have something to do with Ronnie getting unalive? Right? When she asked her that, she hung up the phone. A weird series of events, a couple of days, maybe a week or so before he was supposed to get the court-ordered DNA test, he was unalived. A couple of days after he was unalive, Chrisean posts DNA results stating that Blue was the baby. No one was even doubting it or cared, but that made Spidey senses tingle. Then the condition of the kid, he definitely needs some type of care, special care. Is it from her drinking? I don't know. Is it from, neglect? I don't know. The guy, Ronnie, said that he don't care. He wanted, if that's his kid, he would give him whatever he needs to take care of him. The kid looks like Ronnie to me. The kid looks like Ronnie to me. So to me, I feel like it's a double loss for the kid. He don't get to have a real life if he is handicapped because of her actions. And he'll never get to know his dad because of those same actions. Allegedly. Allegedly. And now she's threatening older, people, people that could be her aunt or her mom's age, because she's not liking that they're telling her to take care of the kid, focus on the kid, and not social media. It's an interesting one. I did not want to react to it because I've been in and out of their group chats for like the last 2-3 years, and at one point I had empathy for her because I'm like, oh, they just giving her the short end of the stick. But nah, it's seeming like you want the short end of the stick. So I'll leave it there though. But did Yanti go off? Okay? You know what I'm saying? That's a new thing. Them young aunties like myself. So anyway, shout out to Tia Kemp on that one. I thought it was very I don't know, for lack of a better word, She needed to hear from her auntie, I guess. I guess she needs to hear from her auntie. Now, I do not need neither of them getting violent. Okay, I don't need Tia pulling out no nothing. I don't need Chrisean thinking that she could fight all old women. You know what I'm saying? Or older women, right? Just go to your separate parts of the world and leave each other alone. But I hope that someday, I hope that, Chrisean has a moment to sit down and really be like, let me do the right thing for my kid. That's all I can pray for. But I'm going to leave y'all there, and I'm going to leave y'all with that one. And you know how I do. Go ahead and join me in the comments and tell me what y'all think. If you like anything I do, tell a friend. If you don't like anything I do, tell a friend. And from my lips to your ears, I love you. But I need you to go out there and be good to each other, be kind to each other. Then come back over here and hit the like button, the subscribe button, turn on your notifications, all right? Then go out there and share it and tell a friend. And until next time, it's your girl Gongali. It's She Could Talk the Podcast, and I'm out. Peace. Talk about it.